And our role is to try to adapt to make sure that we understand what that could look like.
Hi there, and welcome to another From Ideas to Results. I'm joined by Luke, CEO and co-founder of Giant Media, and today we're diving into the hot topics this month, all about AI. So kicking off, we have Grok 3. What's going on with Grok 3?
Yeah, so this is a model that's just been released, famous because of Elon Musk. It's one of his home inventions and his kind of AI platform. And they've just dropped a new model, Grok 3, which by all the tests that we've seen is surpassing everything at the moment. So it's come in and it is the kind of supposedly the most advanced AI model that's out there. And again, it's just an interesting one that we've just seen this kind of last couple of months. We've seen so many kind of new models arise and they're just like better than the last. So it's one to watch, and I think it's going to be an interesting one to kind of see how that pans out, because you've seen the kind of like obviously the kind of low cost models being developed, and then suddenly this is now another quite expensive model to do as well. So it's interesting to see how there's this sort of the David and Goliath kind of idea behind AI and which one is actually going to be able to surpass the other.
And what are the implications of that?
So one of the other points is OpenAI, they're also looking to drop more models, and they've got a roadmap set out now for GPT-5 and also 4.5. So they're new models that they're going to be developing. And I think we're going to get to the point where realistically, as a user, we're probably not going to know like dramatically the difference. Yeah. So I think there's a point where if I use Grok 3 versus OpenAI, could I realistically tell the difference? Like you can go to the benchmarking sites and they'll kind of say this one's better than this one's better than that one. But I think from a generalist user perspective, unless you're really into AI and doing a lot of comparisons, you're going to find it very difficult to tell the difference between those kind of models. Implications wise, there's nothing really significant there. But what I would say is going to be interesting, and I think where these companies will win and lose is actually how functional they make them for the user. So I think it's now starting to move into more of a UI conversation and a functionality conversation, because I think that when everything's near equal, I think that it'll be actually how usable those platforms are. And take like Google Gemini, so Gemini 2, they're dropping new models, and again, they're really good. The issue I've got for that as a business is that we're looking at it and you can't use gems and you can't share them. So gems are kind of pre-baked set of instructions. So I could build a gem and I can use that over and over again to kind of do the same task. So it saves me having to kind of reprompt every single time. And ChatGPT has got GPTs. But with ChatGPT, I can share that with everybody in the company right now. The benefit for me as a company is that ChatGPT enables that ability to create that GPT, share it with the company, because I can then scale not just my work, but everybody's work. Those are the things that are actually more important now than this sort of an incremental performance of a baseline model. And so I think that in the world of like marketing and the world of what we do, I think that is going to be more significant.
Interesting. Okay, so it's about accessibility.
Yeah, I think so.
Next up, we have OpenAI. Are there new models on the horizon? You mentioned ChatGPT 5, for example.
Yeah, so there's lots of new models that are kind of touted by OpenAI in terms of they've set out a roadmap. Now, again, one of the interesting things at the moment, if you use ChatGPT, is you go to the model selector at the top. I don't know if you've seen that. You can kind of go to like one mini, four, various different versions. They're looking to get rid of that, because actually what they're saying is that's not a really good UI, and it isn't, because you're like, again, I don't know which model is the best for certain tasks. They're going to create almost like a triage, the way I think it was a triage, where you enter a question, a query, or a task, and this triage will go, which is the best model for us to do this? So it will kind of almost save you that kind of challenge, I guess, of trying to go, well, actually 4.0 is going to be the best model for this one, or 1 is going to be the best. Like, I don't know. So that's going to be really interesting. And I think, again, we're going to see sort of more automation. I think they call it Navigator, where actually OpenAI can take over your computer. So you can give it a task and say, go to Amazon and order me, and I don't know, cheese. Can you order cheese?
Probably.
Possibly. I haven't actually ever done, but now I'm intrigued to see it.
We'll ask ChatGPT.
We'll do that, yeah. It will literally take over your computer. As long as you've given it permissions. It will go to the app, it will search for it, and it will go, here it is, add it to your basket, and then come back for confirmation for you to buy. And so suddenly that task that was, 1% AI and 99% human becomes, 99% AI, 1% human interaction. OpenAI have also added Sora to the model. You can now see in the top left-hand corner. I think still only accessible in the States at the moment, unless you're using the VPNs. Big sort of leaps forward, but again, for me, it's all about UX. How do you make that a platform that is usable?
And do you think, so if ChatGPT's got access to someone's computer, how do you think that could impact their marketing, for example?
The way I look at AI is that we could say that this is a task that a human has to complete, and and this is your start and this is your finish point. Now, what would happen is you can use AI for this bit, potentially ideation, very, very good at ideation. We would then create the content. So taking content as an example, we can kind of do this, and then we can check it. We can get like typos checked and we release it. So there's start to finish, mostly human, bit of AI involved. What I think we're going to see through 2025 is we're going to start seeing that balance change, not for all tasks, but for some tasks. We're actually taking that navigator idea, essentially a 99% human task, will now be an AI task. And so you can actually give much more complicated instructions. Here's a shopping list, can you go and order it for me from Sainsbury's or whatever? It will go away and actually make those sorts of things happen pretty much from start to finish. Get the cheese in. And the implications from a marketing perspective, again, is that it will be certain parts of the role that we used to think were human required will become AI required. And it will be about how we as a business, how we as marketeers can actually understand what those bits are going to change. How do we make sure that we then prep our staff from a training perspective, quality assure this, make sure it still is personalized, good, output. You don't just rely on AI to get it 100% right. I've seen that go wrong. But it's about how we understand where we can use AI and being open to the idea that actually we're going to use it for a much bigger percentage of overall tasks.
Do you think there's any risks associated with AI?
There's a lot of content online talking about the potential kind of pretty catastrophic risks sometimes with AI, which is something we can't as marketeers, there's nothing really directly that we can kind of affect with that. So there is something to be sort of mindful of. I guess in terms of the risk from a marketeer's perspective, it's about personalization. So we can use AI to really heavily personalize content and delivery. But again, as a point of, does it add value to the consumer? We've got to remember with technology, and we've seen this not to the same extent as we've seen with AI, but in the past with digital marketing, is that actually it's not just about relying on the technology. It's going, does that technology add value, add benefit to the consumer? And if it does, fantastic, let's use it. But at the same time, be mindful if actually it is just a gimmick or it doesn't add value, it's not force ourselves to kind of use it. And I think the risk is also that we become too reliant on it, and actually then we don't kind of focus on what we kind of should be doing as marketeers and really understanding that customer, because it's so important.
Well, that's it from us. Those are the key headlines this month happening in the world of AI. If you're interested and want to learn more, we have got another marketing leadership series focused on search and social with a little bit of AI dabbled in there. Ooh, I believe you're talking about it.
Indeed, yeah. So we're on the 27th of March. We are going to be exploring a world beyond Google. So one of the interesting things that we've seen is that in the last 12 months that Google's percentage market share globally has dropped below 90% for the first time since 2015. As the world of AI is evolving, we need to be prepared for potential change in the way that balance is shifted. So we're going to be exploring the topic around other AI search engines and how we would rank for those. We're going to be exploring kind of all those different things when it comes to kind of more traditional search and the kind of AI world and how that's changing, but also looking at search from a social perspective. Often overlooked that actually social platforms like TikTok are a fantastic search engine, and we're seeing younger generations use them not just for that kind of scrolling content, but also from a search perspective. So again, how do we optimize? How do we make sure that we are featuring in those social platforms, as well as also being prepared for the future of the more traditional search engine results page as well? That is on the 27th of March. Really excited. We're going to be joined with an amazing guests. That should be a really good session.
To find out more, check out the website, and of course, sign up if you are viewing that content.